Hello everyone, I am Sonalika from Cloud and Infrastructure team. I would like to welcome you all to NathCorp Spotlight series. So today I am going to present Microsoft Learn MCP and show how we can build an AI-powered Microsoft Learn agent using this MCP. In this session, we'll understand what Microsoft Learn MCP server is, why Microsoft introduced it, how MSL agent built using Copilot Studio interacts with it, and how it retrieves trusted Microsoft documentation, a reference URL, and code sample in response to natural language question. So by the end of this session, you'll have a clear understanding of the Microsoft Learn MCP server, the MSL agent, and how they work together to provide accurate and trusted Microsoft knowledge. So let's get started. Let's begin with a quick overview of today's agenda. First, we will understand what Microsoft Learn MCP server is and why Microsoft introduced it. Next, we'll look at the MSL agent and understand how it is built using Copilot Studio. After that, we'll go through the end-to-end overflow to see how MSL agent interacts with the Microsoft Learn MCP server to retrieve official Microsoft documentation, reference URL, and code samples. We'll then discuss the key benefits of this solution, followed by the key takeaway from this session. And finally, we'll conclude with a live demonstration of the MSL agent in action. Now let's understand what the Microsoft Learn MCP server is. So Microsoft Learn MCP server is a server provided by Microsoft which enables AI agent to access Microsoft Learn resources, including documentation, reference URL, and code samples. Now you might be wondering what we mean when we say it's public and remote MCP server. So when we say it's public, it means Microsoft has made this MCP server available for anyone to use. Developer and organization can connect their AI agent to it without building or managing their own Microsoft documentation server. It's also a remote MCP server, which means it is hosted and managed by Microsoft in the cloud. We don't have to install or manage it ourselves. Instead, our AI agent simply connects to Microsoft server over the internet whenever it's need Microsoft related information. You can think of it as a bridge between AI agent and Microsoft Learn. So whenever an AI agent receives Microsoft related query, instead of searching different website, it sends the request to Microsoft Learn MCP server. The server then retrieves the required information from official Microsoft Learn resources and returns to the AI agent. So this ensures that the responses are accurate, reliable, and up to date. So now let's look at some of the key features it provides. First, it's public and free. Second, it's a remote MCP server, which means Microsoft hosts and manages it. And third, it provides official Microsoft knowledge, ensuring that all the information comes directly from the trusted Microsoft source. It also works seamlessly with Microsoft Copilot Studio and Visual Studio Code, making it easier to build AI-powered solution using official Microsoft content. And finally, the content is refreshed daily. So AI agent always has access to the latest Microsoft documentation, reference URL, and code samples. So now that we understood the Microsoft Learn MCP server, let's see how it is used in the real world through MSL agent. So an MSL agent is an AI agent built using Microsoft Copilot Studio. Its primary purpose is to answer Microsoft related questions in a natural language by retrieving information from official Microsoft documentation, in real time through Microsoft Learn MCP server. So in simple terms, we can say the MSL agent acts as an intelligent assistant, while the Microsoft Learn MCP server acts as a knowledge provider. And together, they provide user with quick and reliable access to Microsoft Learn resources. This can be summarized using the equation as shown in the slide. So Copilot Studio agent plus Microsoft MCP server equals AI-powered access to Microsoft Learn. So let's understand each component individually. First component is the AI layer. This is the MSL agent, which is built using Copilot Studio. It's responsible for understanding the user queries, processing the request, and generating a conversational response. In another word, it acts as an interface between the user and the Microsoft Learn MCP server. The second component, we have the retrieval layer, which is the Microsoft Learn MCP server. Whenever MSL agents need Microsoft-related information, it sends the request to the server. The MCP server retrieves the relevant document, reference URL, and code samples from Microsoft Learn and send them back to the agent. Then we have the knowledge source. So knowledge source behind the entire solution is Microsoft Learn, which is Microsoft official document library. Since all information comes directly from Microsoft Learn, the responses are accurate, trusted, and always based on official Microsoft content. Finally, the MSL agent can be made available through Microsoft Teams and Copilot Chat, allowing user to ask Microsoft-related question in a natural language and receive trusted response without manually searching through documentation. Now that we understood the MSL agent, let's see how it's work in end-to-end. The workflow starts when a user asks Microsoft-related question through Microsoft Teams or Copilot Chat. This could be a question about Azure, Microsoft 365, Power Platform, or any other Microsoft technology. Once the question is received, the MSL agent, which is built using Microsoft Copilot Studio, first analyzes the user request, understand what information the user is looking for, and prepare the request accordingly. After understanding the query, the MSL agent sends the request to Microsoft Learn MCP server. The Microsoft Learn MCP server then searches the official Microsoft Learn resources and retrieves the most relevant document, a reference URL, and code samples related to the user query. Once this information is retrieved, it sends back to the MSL agent. The agent then organizes and formats the information into a clear and easy to understand conversational response instead of simply displaying the raw documents. Finally, the response is returned to the user in Microsoft Teams or Copilot Chat, allowing them to quickly get the information they need. So important point to remember here is that MSL agent does not search the web directly. Instead, it always relies on the MCP server to retrieve information from official Microsoft Learn resources. This ensures every response is trusted, accurate, and up to date. So from the user perspective, this is simple. They ask the question in a natural language, but behind the scene, the MSL agent and the MCP server work together to retrieve trusted Microsoft information and deliver it in a conversational response. So now that we have seen how MSL agent work, let's look at the value it brings to the user. One of the biggest advantage of MSL agent is that it makes finding Microsoft information much faster. So instead of spending time searching across different websites, user can simply ask question, and instantly receive the relevant document, reference URL, and code sample. Another important benefit is the reliability of the information. Since every response comes from the official Microsoft Learn resources, the user can trust that information is accurate and up to date. The MSL agent also provides a much more natural way to search for information. So rather than remembering keywords, user can ask questions in everyday language, making the experience simple and intuitive. So because the agent is available through Microsoft Teams and Copilot chat, the user can access Microsoft document directly from the tools they already use every day. So there's no need to switch between application or browse multiple websites. In addition to the documentation, the MSL agent can also provide code samples, making it easy for developers to understand the concept and implement solution more quickly. So overall, the MSL agent reduced the time spent searching for information while providing trusted Microsoft content in a simple conversational experience. This improves the productivity and help user find the right information and much more efficiently. Now, let's move on to the live demonstration of the MSL agent. So now I'll demonstrate how we can integrate the Microsoft Learn MCP server into a Copilot Studio agent. First, I will navigate to the agent section. Here, I can either create a new agent or use the existing one. For this demonstration, I will create a blank agent. Then I can give it a name as MSL demo. Okay, now let's hit on create button. The agent is now being provisioned. Once the setup is complete, we can configure it by adding tools, knowledge source, and other capabilities. So now I'll move to the tools section. Let it complete it first. Yeah. So now let's move to the tools section. Tool extend the capability of an agent. Since we want the agent to retrieve information directly from Microsoft Learn, we'll add an MCP tools. So click on add tools. So now here, Copilot Studio provide different types of tools. I'll choose Model Context Protocol or MCP. An MCP server allows the agent to securely communicate with external systems and retrieve information. According to the official Microsoft Learn documentation, Microsoft provides a dedicated MCP endpoint for an agent. The endpoint is, so we can see this endpoint on this. This URL is the entry point to the Microsoft Learn MCP server. It is the address where our Copilot Studio agent sends its request. Whenever the user asks a question related to Microsoft technology, the agent uses this URL to connect to Microsoft Learn MCP server. The MCP server then searches the official Microsoft Learn documentation, retrieves the relevant information, and sends it back to the agent. So instead of searching random websites or relying on model built-in knowledge, the agent gets information directly from Microsoft Learn, making the response accurate, up-to-date, and trustworthy. So now I'll configure the MCP server. For this, I need to copy this URL and add this URL over here. I'll provide a server name as Model Context Protocol, MCP. Give some description to this. Helps to fetch. And we need to paste the URL URL that Microsoft provides. Since the server uses Microsoft authentication, no API key is required. Finally, I'll click on Create. We need to wait for some time. So yeah, the MCP server has now been created. At this point, the server exists, but it isn't connected yet. So the next step is establishing the connection. After signing in with the Microsoft account, the connection status changes to connected. So let me give some display name. Now let's click on Create button. This confirms that Copilot Studio can now communicate securely with the Microsoft Learn MCP server. Now I'll click on Add to attach it to the tool to the agent. The tool now has been successfully added to the agent, as we can see. Yes, the connection has been established. Now let's test the agent. So I can simply ask any question like how to create an Azure VM. Click on Enter. Initially, the agent asked me to connect to the tools. So I'll open the connection manager. This happens because although the MCP server has been added, the user connection hasn't been authorized yet. So we need to open the connection manager. Here we can see the connection status is not connected. So I'll click on connect. This authorizes the agent to access Microsoft Learn on my behalf. After authentication, the Microsoft account is selected. I simply click on submit. Now the connection has been established. Now I'll ask the same question on this. This time, instead of asking me to connect again, the agent directly queries to the Microsoft Learn MCP server. The MCP server retrieves the latest Microsoft Learn documentation, and the response is displayed. Yes, and the response is displayed here with the official steps and guidance. So instead of relying only on the NLM knowledge, the agent is now using real-time Microsoft Learn documentation. So now that our agent has been configured with Microsoft Learn's MCP server, the next step is to publish the agent. We need to wait for some time. Just go on the agent once again. And click on Publish button. So it will take some time to publish, and after that we can see this agent in all agent section. And we can use it in our channels. So publishing makes the agent available for use across different Microsoft 365 platforms, such as Microsoft Teams, Microsoft 365 Copilot, and other supported channels. For this document, I'll use the agent directly from Microsoft Teams. So once the agent is available in Teams, user can interact with it using natural language, just like chatting with one another. For example, I'll ask the question like, give me the Python code sample to create an Azure Storage Blob container. Will it give the answer? No, we have to again go with Open Connection Manager and make the connection possible. This is just a one-time process. After that, when we run this query, The agent sends the request to the Microsoft Learn MCP server. The MCP server searches the official Microsoft Learn documentation, retrieves the relevant code, sample, and guidance, and return it to the agent. The agent then presents the response in Microsoft Teams, including Python code and the supporting explanation. It just takes a few minutes to answer the query. We can see our answer is generated. It presents the response of the Python code sample. So this demonstrates how easily we can integrate the Microsoft Learn MCP server with Copilot Studio. By using MCP, the agent can access official Microsoft Learn documentation and code sample in real time. Instead of relying only on its built-in knowledge, as a result, the user receives accurate, up-to-date, and trusted information directly within familiar Microsoft 365 application like Microsoft Teams. So now that we have completed a live demonstration, let's switch back to the presentation to conclude the live demo. Let's quickly summarize the key takeaway from today's session. We learned that Microsoft Learn MCP Server provides trusted Microsoft documentation, reference URL, and code sample through the MSL agent. We also saw how user can ask questions in a natural language through Microsoft Teams or Copilot chat, making it easy to access Microsoft's information without manual searching. Finally, because the solution is built on Microsoft Copilot Studio and uses official Microsoft Learn resources, it delivers fast, reliable, and up-to-date response. So thank you everyone for joining and watching this Spotlight series. We hope you find this information valuable. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more such informative technical content. Thank you and see you in the next Spotlight series.